don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. There's 3 ways you can support the Ange TV Show. Visit our merch store at the Ange TV Show on Teespring and purchase merch now. Or you could send a super chat. And finally, you could become a member of this glorious channel by hitting the join button at the bottom of the video. Alright guys, enjoy the show. What's up, guys? We are live. Welcome back to the Ange TV Show, guys. It is Thursday, which means I have another very, very special guest for you guys. And I'm thinking about you guys on every level, but today I'm thinking about your wallet. And not only your wallet, guys, your bank account and your future, okay? Because today we're talking about how to make money, okay? Not online, okay? In real life, guys. And I have the perfect guy for the job. This guy is a financial advisor by the name of Andrew Cipolla. What's up, buddy? How are you, Andrew?
Man, it's going great. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. I just went for a walk. I got vaccinated today. I got my second shot. So, you know, I got my vaccine passport now. So I think we're good to go.
Yeah, sounds about right. I'm still waiting.
Oh, really? And I must say, Andrew, you're really dressed for the occasion, my friend. You're looking sharp.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Quite good yourself.
Thank you. So, Andrew, why don't you introduce yourself to the guests?
No problem. So, basically, my name is Ange Cipolla. I live here in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. I'm a financial advisor. I've been in the industry about 2 years now. Mm-hmm. I started. It's been fun working as a financial advisor. I've been obviously I've told you I've worked at 2 companies so far. I've grown my reputation, and I really value working with people and helping people out. And it's been a passion of mine for a couple of years now. And I always want to find a way to help people. And my path got steered towards this, and I'm really glad I could do that.
Okay. So, Andrew, I want to know something. Did you always think that you were going to go into finance, like back in the days when you were younger, growing up with the schooling and everything? Like, how did your passion for finance start, Andrew?
Well, I'm the youngest of everybody in my family, including cousins and whatnot. So a lot of my family, they're already very much into finance when I was younger. And when I was in grade school, I was being taught how the stock market worked, and even when I was in high school. So it wasn't so much time to learn other things like on your leisure time. I was like, hey, let me teach you about this. It's gonna be useful in life. You know, when you're younger, you don't really pay attention to it, but after in the future, you're like, you know what? It's really paid off. And with that influence, I had a really good, strong supporting cast, my cousins, my brother. And eventually I decided to take the leap. I said, you know what, practice what I've learned. And it's gone really well for me so far.
So a lot of your family members, you said your brother is in the same field, right?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. So that's what kind of gave you the push, right, to get into finance? Well,
he saw I had an knack for it. And I was studying different things in school. I went to high school. I finished high school, finished college. I was trying to decide what I want to do after college, and he gave me a push. He encouraged me, try it out, study, complete your courses, and maybe a company is going to see, do you have the right assets and the right abilities to take this further?
For sure. And you know what, Andrew, listen, I have known you for quite a while now. We used to play soccer together, Andrew. Me and Andrew used to play soccer together at the park. I never thought you would be in finance, dude. Like I don't know. I saw you as this funny guy. You always used to make jokes and stuff, but I never saw the finance part. It's interesting now. And it was quite the surprise when you told me that you're working now at La Capitale, which we're going to talk about. Yeah. But Andrew, what education background do you have, if any?
You have to have an education background working in finance here. There's no second way around it. But there's no other way around it. You have, I finished college, and that's around the same time we sort of slowed down our playing days. And of course, you remember the jokes and all that. But at a certain point, at a certain age, I realized that there's time to joke and there's time to play. And I was able at a certain age when I got into my 20s to really differentiate the two. And after college, I studied some courses at Concordia. I studied the economics courses and whatnot, and I decided to fill an application to work at Industrial Alliance, which was the first company I got into. Their financial group. They work with insurances and investments and whatnot. So that's what I really worked towards, and I found out what requirements I needed. I had a couple options to complete my education there. I could have worked. I could have studied online for about at my own pace over the course of a couple months, maybe 2 months, 3-4 months, or I could have done as an intensive, or I could have gone take the class and received my license. And what I decided to do is I said teach myself because I'm a quick learner. Yeah. And it's there was a lot of aspects to it. There's the lead. You have to understand a law course. What's the laws here in Quebec and whatnot.
Yeah,
so you don't necessarily
a lot of laws here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's especially when it comes to settling estates in terms of de facto spouses and whatnot. So how inheritances work between people that live together for a certain amount of years is different between here and the rest of Canada. So I had to learn a lot of that, and thankfully I didn't get a bachelor's, but it took a lot of grinding to get where I've gotten to so far.
We have a few questions, Andrew. Sorry to interrupt you. We have a few questions here. First of all, Ryo Cat, he's from Japan. He said, "How to save yen?"
How to save yen?
How does he save his yens? Yeah.
If we're comparing it to dollars, how do we save yens? We can touch base on that. I'm going to answer that more later on, but always set a budget and be strict with discipline. If you really care about what you're saving towards, no matter what that may be, and this is completely my honest opinion, every goal that you have financially is important, whether it's small, short-term, long-term, whatever. If it's a vacation, a car, a house, an investment property, it matters. So save your money accordingly, allocate yourself a budget, and stick to it if you're really passionate about what you're trying to save towards.
Wow, Andrew, I think you said it beautifully. Guys, Andrew, he just touched through what we're going to talk about today, which is budgeting your money, saving your money, because there's a difference. Budgeting is like, this week I'm going to allocate $100 for snacks or groceries or whatever. So to not spend more than that, and that you're going to have the leftover money from your salary in the bank, right? So that's what we're going to talk about. Andrew's the expert here. So we're going to talk about that, and as well as we're going to talk about RSPs. Guys, sit down and relax because we have a lot to discuss tonight. So, Andrew, now you work at La Capitale, which is an insurance company, okay? What is your objective at La Capitale, Andrew?
Well, my objective at La Capitale is first and foremost to work in the client's best interest, to protect their investments, their savings, to protect them in the case of things that are uncontrollable life events. If, God forbid, one of us gets sick, or we're unable to work, we get hurt, God forbid, premature death, you don't really have a backbone to fall on. That's why saving and investment planning is very, very key, So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to protect everybody and all their interests associated with that. So whatever your plans are, we want to make sure that they're going to be healthy and they're going to thrive.
Yeah, it's kind of like almost a weight loss challenge too. Like you want to stay focused. You want to stay focused on your eating, your exercise, stuff like that. It's the same type of not endurance, but the same type of regime, right?
Well, yes and no. I see what you're saying, but I definitely agree. There's a certain aspect of that can carry forward from weight watching and weight loss, but it's something that's very much you got to look at it, I guess. That you have to protect. You're the only thing that's going to make you wealth in your life. You are the money making machine. You are yourself. You're the one that provides your income at the end of the year. Yeah. You provide for your family. You provide for everybody. So why not protect yourself? Why not protect everything you've worked hard for? And that's our aim, is to protect and to help as many people as we can. And La Capitale is a fantastic company, great culture, and it's just a great place to build your career. And I was lucky they asked me to come over, and I don't regret it since.
Fantastic. I'm really happy for you, Andrew, that you had a good company with a solid objective in mind. Listen, we already have some good comments here. Rylocat said he's saving money to buy an anime plushie. Listen, you buy whatever you want to buy with your money. It is your money, right? And that's why you want to make money to buy the things that you love, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So also, guys, I have pinned to the top of the chat Andrew's Facebook link, right, Andrew?
Yeah, for my professional Facebook page.
For his professional Facebook page. So if you want to get in contact with Andrew, possibly set up a meeting. Do you do virtual meetings, Andrew?
100%. Especially now with COVID, everything's over Microsoft Teams and whatnot, and it's super easy, super effective, and I always do no obligation, no cost meetings.
Absolutely.
I'm here to help you, and what the help you need, whatever that entails, we discuss at a later time. Whatever it is your objective, I could try to help you reach. But I'm never. It's always a pleasure of mine to meet as many people as possible and help. That's the aim of our company. That's the aim of my job. That's why I did this, and
Yeah. Alpha Storytime is in the building. He said, I am saving money to buy a floor. A floor? What do you mean a floor? Oh, like to renovate?
Renovate. Yeah, 100%.
Okay,
it's a huge reason to renovating right now, especially people, we can't travel, right? What do you do when you don't have money? You probably want to do little projects, right? That's what everybody's like. That's what we did. That's what my family did. Little things here and there. You treat yourself. And the year you can't spend money going out, might as well fix up the house or do whatever makes you happy.
Andrew, we have a question from Mr. Andre from Ukraine. He said, should I buy Bitcoin? Like, what's your opinion on that cryptocurrency?
Cryptocurrency, it was a big, like, based on my qualifications and my licensing, I can't give stock tips, so I have to be very careful with this. But I mean, as a personal, I wanted to get into this when I was a little bit younger, but you really have to catch like the boat, you have to catch the wave, right? And there's other ones obviously we've heard of in the market so far, but like Dogecoin, all that, and Ethereum. But the thing is it's very hard to judge how that's going to play out. It's not tangible. It's not like an actual currency, like whether it be the US dollar, Canadian dollar, yen, like we had before as an example, pesos, or no matter what. It's not something you could hold. So it's a little bit more difficult to analyze. So I really can't give that kind of advice because, I got to stick within my legal limits here.
That's right. That's perfectly fine, Andrew. Also, Nick C. What's up? Nick C. is in the building. He said, is there a difference between a financial planner and a financial advisor?
Yes. And I would say yes, because it depends the company you work for. If you work for Investors Group, for an example, it's another company here that we have here in Montreal. They have financial planners that more often than not deal exclusively with investment portfolios and whatnot, bringing in certain amounts of clientele in terms of volume of their net assets. But an advisor, my job is not necessarily to sell you something. It's to advise you on what path I would think would be the best to protect yourself and to better your chances to preserving everything you've worked for so far, and to enhance your long-term objectives as well as your short-term, such as like retirement, or no matter what you're saving up for. I could talk with you and help you plan accordingly.
Okay, let me ask you a question, Andrew. This is just a straight up question, okay? Some people would say, why do I need a financial advisor? What's the point of going and see him if I could do it myself? So what would you answer to somebody that said, what's the point of going and see a financial advisor?
It's a great question. And at the end of the day, financial advisors, financial planners, whatever you want to see, we have a certain level of expertise. We have experience in the industry, and our job is solely to help you. Now, I'm sure you guys have seen probably things like Questrade and whatnot. They say, there's no fees, blah, blah, blah. But also, it's a little bit of a different ballgame, right? And there's a popular RBC commercial that's out right now, and they said, well, how did you get better returns last year than I did? I don't pay fees. Well, I guess my advisor was right. fees don't tell the whole story, because they don't. The expertise is something that's sometimes you can't put a price on. Sometimes you just got to roll with it. Sometimes you just got to go with it and trust that the person in front of you is trying to help you as best as they can.
Yeah, you know what, Andrew? You answered it excellently. And look, Alpha Storytime said, if anyone could do it themselves, we would all be rich. It's true.
Yeah, if everybody could start up the next Google, it would be the best thing in the world, right? That's the thing. It takes it's never to pump my own horns, to my own horn. It's because I mixed that up with pump my own brakes. But it's not to say that there's so many other people that I've met, and there hasn't been a single advisor, director, anybody that I've worked with, or I haven't learned something off them. And it's just due to their immense experience that I've picked up things and how to approach people, how to comfort them, how to reassure them. There's certain ways to make them understand that everything's going to be okay. We could work on this together.
Okay.
And there's certain individuals, I'm sure they could do it by themselves, and if they could, great for them. But if I could help just one more person, I would.
We have a really good question, Andrew, because this is actually one of the top most searched SEO, search engine optimization. It's one of the most searched questions on YouTube. Okay, how do you make money as a teenager? So he's saying, how do you be rich or still a kid? He's trying to say, how do you make money when you're a kid and you can't work? You're 14, 15 years old. What are things you could do to save up a bit of money?
Well, personally, I had little chores I used to do. Used to help my family, help neighbors, collect 10, 15 bucks here and there. And at that age, what the trick is a lot of people think, well, I'm only collecting maybe $100 a month in the summer because I can't work at McDonald's or Tim Hortons yet. I'm not of age. Yeah. But that $100, $300 that you earn in the summer, what's good about that is, what other expenses do you have at that age? Not
exactly.
much. So you don't need the same budget that I would suggest that we're going to talk about later. To split, let's just say your monthly budget, allocate, example, 10% for long-term preservation or long-term goals. You don't need that as a 15, 14-year-old.
No.
You could save way more than 10% because chances are, I'm not going to speak for everybody because everybody has a different childhood, but unless you have to, for example, go out every weekend, you want to go see movies every weekend, then you're prioritizing spending your money a little differently, which is okay. You're young, you want to have fun, that's great. But for those who want to save, if you don't have a lot of expenses, it's the best time to maybe put it in a high interest savings account or whatever. So ask your parents.
So, by the way, guys, welcome J.A. Wild, and also we have Sage is in the building, aka Lonely Roach is here. Guys, we're talking about being smart with your money, putting money in your little piggy bank, okay? Especially you guys 15 and younger. Ryu Cat was asking, how do we save money as a kid? Unfortunately, you can't work. Well, unless you're doing stuff under the table for some cash, but that's a different story. I mean, at the end of the day, if I were 15 and younger, you know what I would do, Andrew? I would just enjoy my life. I wouldn't worry about making money at that age. You know what I mean? I mean, it's important to know the values early on, but at the end of the day, how much do you want to tell your kid, don't spend your money? Because most parents that tell their kids, don't spend your money, end up giving them their credit card, right? So it's like you got to have this. Lucky. Yeah, you didn't get that lucky, but I'm just saying, like, most people that say, no, don't buy a bike, don't buy this, don't buy that, or don't buy a car, they give it to them. You understand? And then you're not really showing them the value of money. So
that's a very good point. Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting over here. Are you homeless? How are you going to get money or job? Okay, I'm not sure what Ryan Cat's asking there, but I guess he was saying, if you're homeless, how do you get a job?
I mean, that's not really something I have a lot of expertise answering, but I can never. And you know what? I empathize with a lot of people because I speak from a position where I've never been there, so I can't really turn around and say, oh, well, it's as easy as doing 1, 2, 3 and you'll be fine, because it's not that easy, especially now in the world that we live in. It has been a very tough year for a lot of people. I know people that don't have jobs anymore, people that may have to have left their apartment and moved to a smaller apartment, or God forbid, not one at all. So and
they're raising the rents everywhere. They're kicking people out of apartments and they're raising the rents. People have kids. They're paying $800 and they have to pay $1,500 Okay, not 1,500, but let's say 1,200, whatever. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, Andrew, what type of clients require your services?
Clients that need some direction, clients that need help financial planning, that want to establish their portfolios and build their portfolios. It really depends. I've worked with a variety of ages. I specialize in retirement planning. So I work for a lot of people who are close to their retirement, who, let's just say, maybe didn't get the same returns that they want in retirements within 10 years, and they needed to increase to be able to live comfortably.
Okay.
People who need to start setting up their retirement, which is like in your 40s, for example, if you haven't.
Yeah.
Or some people that are younger that are getting married and starting families, and they realize that, if there's one thing that's certain about life, is that nothing is certain except for death and taxes, right? So
that's right.
At the end of the day, there's a few things that we have to protect ourselves from, and put us in the best possible situation, put our best foot forward into getting into the headspace and getting into the, I don't know how to say it, but getting into the position where we don't have to worry all the time because we're set up and we have a plan. That's the type of clientele. The clientele that wants a plan, I'm really happy to help.
And that's what we want to talk about, Andrew. When we go see you, okay, you're a financial advisor. When we sit down and go see you, take us through the financial planning process. Like, what do you look at the beginning? Like, do you look at their spending habits? What exactly do you do as soon as you sit with somebody that wants your services?
Well, first thing I do is I collect all their information through a detailed survey. We do a confidential, just one-on-one confidentially, and we do it, like I said, virtually. The majority of the things that I'm going to ask you are going to be your occupation. We get personal. Sometimes we talk about salary. Oftentimes talk about salary. But most importantly, it's your assets versus your debts, because that's how we see if you're in the positives or the negatives. If you have a big mortgage and a lot of student loans, car loans, but you don't have a lot of assets to counterbalance it, we have to find a way so that if, God forbid, something happens between, let's say you're married in this situation and you are unable to cover your debts, we don't want your family to have that burden as well. So that's what I often do. I compare net assets versus assets and debts, and I see if it's in the positive or negative. Mm-hmm. I look at the protections that you guys have in place. What else do I look at? I look at a lot. I look at your retirement savings, your retirement planning that's already in place, your savings habits, what you've saved up. And
so it's almost like you do a credit check.
No, actually, you know what? This is funny, kind of, but I look at pretty much every information that you want to give me voluntarily. And then after, I'll get back to you between our first meeting and our second meeting. I'll say, this is what I figured out. This is what is my let's just say suggestion to you that would be in your best interest. And then we go from there.
Well, you know what, Andrew, Minga, you're really professional. You dress professional, you sound professional, and you are professional, my friend. Wow. Listen, Andrew, what are the myths about retirement savings? Because this is a big topic that a lot of people like to talk about. What are the myths about it?
Well, here in Canada, we have two very popular methods of saving. We have, obviously, retirement savings plans, kind of in the name, and TFSA, tax-free savings accounts. A lot of the myths that come with TFSAs more so than RSPs are that, you could just start at any age, which is not true. You have to be 18. You could put as much as you want. That's not true. There's a yearly limit, and if you didn't use up the limits from past years since you've been 18, then you could contribute those cumulative years. So there's a couple of those myths, and with those myths causes a lot of fear sometimes to even approach an financial advisor because you believe it. Some people believe that why would I want to start and why would I invest in a TFSA because it's like an RSP. When I withdraw it, I'm going to have to pay tax on it anyway. That's not true. It grows tax-free and it is tax-free. That's a huge myth when it comes to tax-free savings accounts. RSPs, people complain and say before, I don't want to cut you off, but people complain and say, you know what, I'm going to be having to pay taxes when I withdraw it. Yes, but it's also you invest it with before tax dollars, pre-tax dollars.
That's right.
So you could deduct it off your salary. Your salary is therefore reduced.
You could also buy a house with it, right?
Yeah, of course. But that's just it. It's you could do so many things. It depends what your objective is, which is what I like to do with the client that's individual. You get to see what your objective is, and then after we work together and say, okay, well, what makes sense for your objective? And then we go from that point on, and we've had some really good results. It really depends. If someone needs to lower their tax bracket, you're allowed up to 18% of your salary for RSP contributions. Let's forget about group insurances and matching. All my employer matches. Forget about that. Just remember that it's 18%. So it's really interesting how each client's truly a unique case.
Andrew, I have a question for you. Are you a credit expert?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so you wouldn't be able. So you wouldn't be able to answer the question. How could someone improve their credit? Let's say somebody had a rough patch with their credit and they want to improve their credit. Is there anything they could do to improve their credit?
I can't really speak on that. Like I said, it's the thing with when you have to study the law portion here in Quebec. It's very, very, very tricky as to what we could say. But you can go to a bank and speak to a credit expert at a bank, whether it's credit for mortgage or whatever you need your credit for. Personally, I just always make sure that I pay my entire statement balance 2 or 3 days before it's even due, and I've never. I think maybe that would be a lie. I think I've missed 1 or 2 when I was on vacation. That's a different issue. But
you know what? I'm gonna say a little statement. I don't know if you guys all agree, but to me, if your credit card, let's say you have a budget for your credit card, whatever your ideal amount of money you want to put on your credit card, if it's free, if you have all that space free, you're rich to me. Like if your credit card is almost empty, like you have the whole credit, you're rich to me. You know what I mean? If you don't have to use it all, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like if you're able to like pay off before the statement comes, to me, in my opinion, you're well off. You're okay.
Yeah, you know what? It's definitely a huge plus if you got the luxury, because a lot of people, they think just because a credit card company calls them and says, we'll increase your limit to 10,000. That's not necessarily a good thing. It's just even more at your fingertips that you could use. It takes one drunk night on Amazon ordering things for you to regret it the next day. That's all it
could be anything. Listen, when you have a credit card with a what do you call it? A max of $50,000, you could do whatever the hell you want. You can buy a car, for Christ's sake. He's right, Andrew. Guys, be careful what you do with a credit card. A credit card can get you into major debt and
watch where you enter your credit card information.
Exactly. Watch where you enter your credit card information when you're buying on these sites that you don't know what it is. I suggest you don't use credit card. There's also PayPal you could use, but be careful with credit card numbers. And now there's a lot of hacking too, Andrew. There's a lot of did you see what happened with the pipeline there? Oh my God. They didn't hear about it. No, in the States, the whole East Coast, there's a gas shortage because they hacked the pipeline.
Gas shortage, yeah, of course.
It's crazy, dude. The hacking is right now. Actually, Biden said that he has to reinforce all the cybersecurity because the United States is under attack. They say it's Russia, but I don't know if Andre here wants to comment on that. But anyways, Andrew, what else do you feel should be an important part of each client's portfolio?
Well, personally, and this is something I actually took pride in and I worked with and I invested in myself, was insurances. Insurances essentially add to your total value, because a lot of people tell me, I'm young, why would I need an insurance? But, I've had stories where people that just got married, they're 30, 32 years old, they have a kid, they just sign up to get a house, $500,000 house, and then God forbid something happens the next day, then the wife is left to pay off the whole entire house with one salary. And who takes care of the child? And it's a whole thing, because a lot of people think it's just another thing to buy, but it's not. It's cheaper as we're younger because we're generally more healthy. Yeah. But at the end of the day, what's the point of saving all this money for your retirement if one little thing that you have absolutely no control over, such as, and we have evidence, the pandemic, nobody could have predicted this in January, on New Year's Eve last year. Who could have predicted this in January 1st, 2020, that this would have been reality, right? So because of that, one thing could derail all our savings, all our planning, and it seems unfair. And there's not many things that we could do to prevent it, but we can be prepared in the event that it happens. So it's a
Yeah.
very big thing, because if you talk retirement planning, that should be part of it. If you say, I want to plan to buy a house, that's part of your plan. If you want to retire, you cover yourself up until you're 65 years old. It doesn't have to be your whole entire life. It can be temporary. You can cover yourself till 65. And now it's, everything's paid off. I've lived a good life. And this is a client example. Some people are like that, but that's just it.
So you're saying basically to get life insurance.
Well, it doesn't only have to be life insurance. It could be critical illness insurance.
Critical illness, that's right.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't like the concept of the life insurance because they say, well, I'm never going to see this money. It's going to be my family. Well, that's true. You want to protect your family because they're the ones that, especially if you're married or you have children or you have any debts whatsoever, they have to take care of it, right? It has to be
of course.
level.
You have to protect your family. Yeah.
You have to protect your family. But critical illness, which is a little bit different, is if you survive a certain amount of days, which it depends the illness. It covers, like here at La Capitale, we cover 25 major illnesses, from cancer, stroke, heart attack, you name it. And if you survive a certain amount of days, we give you a lump sum check to cover to any treatments. And people think, well, we live in Canada, it's free. Well,
not everything's free.
No. And nothing's really free, because who's going to put, when if your child is young, and who's going to put the kid in daycare while you're going to the hospital? Who's going to subsidize your wife's or your husband's salary while you're going to get treatments? What if you need another treatment that's not covered by like the Canadian government or whatnot? So there's a lot of things that I think people kind of oversee when they think of insurance, but it's essentially, if you look at our portfolios and everything that we save up as an egg, and insurance is sort of like a silicone ceiling around the egg, so it protects it from breaking and all falling apart. It's like a pyramid. It's the base of the pyramid. Everything that you have on top that you build, if nothing is on the bottom, it's just gonna fall. You have no foundation.
Absolutely, I agree with you 100%, Andrew. Now you're talking about all the good things about your job, what you're really excelling with. But I want to know, and I ask every guest this, Andrew, so don't feel like you're in a corner here. What is the most difficult aspect of working as a financial advisor? I want to know the bumps on the road, the things that can bring up your anxiety, the difficult aspects of being. Let me ask you a question, Andrew. Is it easy to be a financial advisor? Be straight up and honest. You need a little gulp there, huh?
Okay, so. It's nothing worth having is easy. Let's be honest. Okay. So the hardest part I would say about my job is, especially now in COVID world, because I started before COVID even happened. So I was working, going to happy hours, 5 cassettes, we say here in Quebec, meeting people face to face. It's a lot more easier. It's a lot easier to make a connection. But now it's all based on referral. So to find let's just say clients that would need your services a lot harder, because everybody is conscious of their money. They don't know when this is all going to end. So it's very hard to have an open conversation right now about finances. Sometimes it's a little touchy-feely, the subject. But besides the fact that it's harder to meet new people and to essentially like establish that connaissance, that connection with them. So that's a huge part of my job. That's very difficult. Also, it's hard to convince people, because I am myself, I'm turning 25 in less than a month. So my age group, people around my age group that I would otherwise have a regular everyday contact with, maybe they don't prioritize this as much as someone of a later age group. And then you run into the risk that those people in later age groups, like in their 30s or 40s, perhaps they want to speak with someone their own age because they don't feel you might be qualified. I handle my own. I handle my own portfolio. I have enough clients. I don't have to justify myself to everybody. I think my work speaks for itself. And a lot of clients, when they meet with me, they see it instantly that I don't push them out the door. I don't say, listen, I don't book you back to back because I know there's a chance that's going to run 10 minutes late. I'm going to be like, sorry, I'm cutting you off. Bye. I don't. I like to, as much as possible, take my time and help. And, it's getting your foot in the door to meet with someone, to sit down with them for that initial hour. That is the hardest part, especially now.
We have a question, Andrew. Nick said, Andrew, how do you choose a financial advisor?
Well, if I'm being honest, you choose me. But no, but seriously, you gotta look at. You can look if we're talking insurance, you can't just look at the price because a lot that's an easy way. Everybody looks at insurance like car insurance. I'm just going to go where it's cheaper. This is a little bit different. You got to look at the quality of service that someone's providing you, their comprehension of the topic at hand, whether it's investment. You ask me, Andrew, what can I invest in with you? Well, we have over 40 funds here at La Capitale that you can work with. That's something and we have some of the best ones in Canada, for example. I know them like the back of my hand because I need to know them like the back of my hand. So you need to be with somebody, you need to trust somebody that's in front of you to know all these things, and you gotta see that they care and they're willing to take time with you. If they care about what your issues are, like they're their own, they're really a quality financial advisor. If you feel at all that they're trying to do something for their best interest with pressure to push you towards that direction, chances are maybe they're not working in your best interest, which is the whole point of our job.
Yeah. So basically, another thing is that you're not really like a broker, where like a broker, you really have to trust those guys. Like anybody that's investing your money, you know what I mean? Like anybody that's like, how do I say this? Like not buying, like not telling you to buy RSPs, investing in other stuff, right? It could be, there's a risk to it, right? You don't know who that person is, right?
Well, in what sense? In the sense of the people we work with for the fund managers, you're saying, type thing?
I guess like the people that you say, here, take my money, put it in God knows where, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people that got burnt with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Well, like I said, I can speak only for where I work, but what we do is we have advanced analysis and we look at since the inception of where your investments. We don't tell you, it doesn't change anything, by the way, where you put your money. Whether if you open up a TFSA, an RSP, whatever it is, we don't tell you have to invest it in this because we get a kickback or something. It doesn't work like that. We say, what out of these things, whether it's American equity, global equity, fixed income, no matter what suits you best, the risk? Because fixed income is exactly how it sounds. It's more secure, whereas global equity, it can fluctuate. It's been good. It was good with us last year. We had a really good year. Most people did. But the thing is, it's based on your risk. It's based on what you're comfortable with. And we won't push you into doing something you're not comfortable with because it doesn't benefit us and it won't benefit you. So basically, at the end of the day, we just want to get you the best possible returns available. And we'll show you all the analysis. And we have a lot of it. We have, since 1979, this fund was created. This is how much it's done every year. In the last 5 years, 3 years, 12 months, 3 months. Like, we'll show you and we'll give you it will help you make an informed decision. We have a team of fund managers. We have we work with companies such as AGF, Dynamic here at La Capitale, and we have very high profile fund managers, and they do very well, and they're very meticulous in their job. So it's very informative to help you make a very good decision, and will only help you get to that decision.
We have a few questions, Andrew. Some are on topic, some are a bit off topic. But Ryocat says, how do we save our bank from hackers or scammers? So, like, it's a cybersecurity question. Like, in Canada, aren't we covered for like $100,000, I believe, in the bank if anything happens?
There's an assurance guarantee here in Canada. I think you're right. It's about 100,000. What that covers under that 100,000 is again, it's a legal question, but I'm pretty confident it covers quite a few things. But that's Canada. Like, I'm sure your viewer he's from Japan.
He's from Japan, yeah. Yeah,
so I can't answer what it would be there. So I don't know how to better protect yourself there. But here in Canada, it's a little bit more, I guess you would say, regulated and secure. So we have that going for us here at least.
I guess you could hide your PIN, right? Don't give your PIN to anybody. Don't use it in sketchy places. You know what I mean?
Don't write it down on your phone.
Yeah. And also, guys, another important thing, try not to change your password too often. A lot of people think that, if you keep your password the same for like 10 years, someone's going to get it. It's actually the opposite. If you change it, what happens is that you usually have an email or a notification telling you your new password, And then when someone hacks into your email or your PayPal, then they find that information and then they steal from you. So that's why you're better off just keeping the same password. Jay Wild said, I have a question for the guest. Do you think the fall of the Soviet Union was beneficial for the global economy or was it detrimental? No comment, Andrew?
That's a no comment because
okay.
There's like so many social justice questions, like human rights violation questions in there. And there's so many ways you could dissect that, but I'm gonna plead the fifth on that.
I think he's just trying to be comical. That's Jay Wild.
It's pretty funny. That's a really good question out of left field.
And also, Pat said a buddy of mine from work had to give half of his RRSP to his wife, guys, which is retirement savings plan, when he got divorced. She had no RRSP, but he did. Andrew, is that a true fact?
Yeah. It's very, very, very possible. Especially if it's a Quebec thing, it's very, very likely. That's the thing with divorces. A lot of it is 50-50. Even if you think, well, this is completely mine, but there's little stipulations to it that I'm not going to get into detail. That especially with divorces, that stuff before you got married is yours. So it gets a little confusing legally, but that's very true. That could very well have happened. If
that's a scary thought, Andrew. Because if you put all your money in RSP, and then all of a sudden you get a divorce, and she takes half when she never had any, she was basically getting free money.
Yeah, I mean, it can go both ways. I've heard it the other way around too. That a woman works really hard, and the man could afford to stay at home and watch their children, and then something happens, and there's nothing really that you could do about it. But yeah, that story is not something that's new to me. I heard it in my classes as examples, but it falls under very specific circumstances, I guess.
Yeah. Also, listen, we have another question from Mr. Joshua Marin. How are you, Joshua? He says, I have a question. How am I to make some cash? Beck? Not sure what you're trying to write, Joshua. I guess he's asking how he could make money. He is also he's young, very young. So Joshua, what we were saying is put your money aside. Have fun though. Have fun. Don't just spend your whole time looking at your bank account number. Have fun as a kid. I'm 13, by the way. Yeah, exactly. So he's asking how to make money as a 13-year-old, basically. And by the way, Joshua, you're not the only one asking that. That is the most common YouTube question: is how to make money as a teenager. It's a huge question. It's one of the keywords on YouTube. That's how many people type it every year. And I wish I could help you guys out. Unfortunately, the reality is probably work for your dad. Do something for your dad around the house. Maybe your dad has a business. Maybe something. Work at a hall. I don't know, guys.
Save up money from your birthdays and Christmas and all that. Save up for something you really like. That's what I did. I saved up for bikes. I saved up for when the World Cup came around. I wanted to buy a special jersey. I used to save up for that. A new soccer ball. Little things. But it's
make a lemonade stand.
Old school. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? I like that.
So Andrew, how do we save money? What can you say about that?
Discipline is the number one key. I think the most important thing is that every month you set aside a budget for yourself and you stick to it. Every paycheck you say, I'm going to save this much. If you're very serious about a certain type of goal, like buying a house, and you say to yourself, I want to buy a house by this age. First of all, this is not to say if you're unable to achieve it, you failed or anything. You should never hold that against yourself because you can't predict everything. No one could have predicted the housing market right now, for example. So that being said, whatever advice I give right now, take with a grain of salt, because set yourself up a nice goal and work hard and be disciplined enough to get it and make it realistic. I could help you with that because what I do often is I sit down with clients and they talk to me. They say, this is my goal. This is what I want to do. What do I have to do to get there? And we have a system that basically says, if you save up this much per month with this estimated return from this investment, we're going to have you at this goal by this year. It's not, if it takes you too long, if you say, well, I need it sooner, we'll increase it by $25. We'll change the investment a little riskier, more reward, and we'll try getting you there as quickly as possible to achieve your goals. That's the whole point.
And
budgeting.
also, like now we're getting to budgeting. That's right. How do we make a budget? Is there a is there like a budget that's too strict? Does that exist? Something that's too strict or too lenient?
It depends. I've heard, basically, I've worked with a lot of different ethnicities, and I've heard of a lot of different cultures have a rule, and it's pretty prominent. It's as soon as you get your paycheck, like 25% stash it away, don't look back. And I don't necessarily think that's the best way, depending on your age. It really depends. It depends your salary too, right? Because if you're living on a lower salary, you can't necessarily do that. If you're living on a higher salary, maybe you could save up more than 25% if you're living well within your means. So I think there's a good 90 to 10 split, 90% for your short-term costs, your bills, your expenses, and 10% for your long-term objectives. I think that's a very good budget split. And that's what I encourage my clients a lot of the time. That's also what we encourage at La Capitale.
Yeah. So the thing is, once you set up a budget, that's one thing. The problem is staying in your budget. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, Andrew, okay, if you have a budget and you work with that budget, the odds are you're doing a good thing. If you don't have a budget, then it's a free for all.
Yeah.
Right. You'll buy that extra food. You'll buy whatever it is that you want to buy. You're gonna end up buying it. There's no limit to your credit card. It's just like you go with your impulses, right?
Yeah. The thing is you gotta understand what sacrifices am I willing to make. Like personally, I want to get myself a nice car 2 years ago, and I said, do I want to get myself no, not a nice car, just a car, just something to get me from point A to point B. But then I realized, would I rather get myself a car, or would I rather go on a nice vacation with my friends? So then you have to weigh up that option, and then as I got into this field more and more, I realized that some things are worth it, some things are not, and that depends on the person. I've seen people value things differently, and that's okay. And that's the big point is I'm never one to turn around and shame somebody for prioritizing something different than I'm trying to teach you to do, because at the end of the day, it's not going to be constructive, and you're not going to hear me, and I'm not going to understand you, and we're not going to be on the same wavelength. So what's very important to me is that, you have to be, you got to understand, what am I having? If you have to give up a lot to achieve your objective, maybe your objective might be a little bit too hard or too extravagant for you. That's something that we realistically take a look at.
We have an interesting question from Mr. Pat Ignoro. He said, Andrew, what are your thoughts on the current economic situation? Will inflation go up? Are we heading for a market crash? Because I checked my portfolio yesterday. I lost about $400. So what's going on, Andrew?
Well, there's a lot of things that affect the market. Example, the U.S. presidency affected the market because 2020 had a really good year. A lot of people had great returns last year. Personally, I had some clients earn about 40% on returns, which is pretty unheard of. With the level of risk I'm saying that they were at, it was pretty unheard of to get that kind of return. Historically, they used to get 10% return, so it was very impressive. This year, it's a lot based on uncertainty of how the market's going to respond to the pandemic slowly ending, to if you're investing in companies in the United States, maybe the unrest, how things are not necessarily certain right now, a little unsure. That could also affect. I can't really predict right now. If I could predict this, we'd all be rich. But it's really that's more of a case by case thing. It depends what you're looking to invest in. The market, the inflation question, that's a good question. Normally it's been pretty stable, but I think we use a rule of thumb for about 2% a year. So it's really that's a tricky situation. That's something that if it's going to change, you're going to notice it right away. I don't think it depends again, like on supply and demand, shortages and whatnot, how it's going to affect the market price. But it's not really it's not really something that I'm completely able to predict for you. It's something that we're all kind of like in this together.
But do you think there's going to be an eventual crash with the housing market because it's so high? There's all like stuff that's just really too high right now. Do you think the bubble? It's going to the bubble burst? Put it that way.
Eventually, the housing market has to come back down. Like that's my prediction. That's my guess, I guess, because you can't 100% say it's going to come down, but you can't 100% say it won't. So it's really difficult to 100% foresee where that's going to go. But listen, historically, what goes up comes back down. So,
but at the end of the day, Andrew, yes, it goes down, but there's always a peak. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, you have to know to sell your house at the peak, or whatever it is that you invested in. You sell it at the peak. It's always going to come back to that. There'll be another crisis, and everybody's going to be like, it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be harder to get things, and the market's going to go up. So I think that'll happen again. I think we're heading more on the downwards because now we're at the highs. So I think we're heading more on the downwards. But eventually we're going to get back up there. So it's all about knowing the right time.
Well, it's also about it. It's not just. It's also depends how people prioritize what they want to do at a certain point in their life, right? So if a lot of people are getting like married and wanting to move and change apartments, change houses, condos, what have you, you know, that affects the housing market, right? Like right now, it depends where you look. If you look in Toronto, here, even Ottawa, it's not going well. It's houses are having 10 bids and selling in days.
The houses are selling more than what they're asking. Like if they're asking 800, they sell for $1 million.
100%. Well, I've seen like here a solid increase of about like from market value, like from $50,000 to $100,000 increase off market value, right? And that's if it doesn't start a bidding war. Example, it's just the way it is. My family, we moved in September of 2020. Already, it's drastically different, you know, and it's we're not even a year later. So.
So listen, Andrew, you're like I would, you know, you are the beard of knowledge, right? So what advice can you give to somebody to secure a healthy financial future, especially if they're young, they want kids, they want to get married? What words of wisdom can you give to that person?
You know what? If you're young and it all comes with your objectives. It depends what your objectives are. It depends if you want to live a life of finishing school and starting your career right away, getting married right away, having kids right away. If that is the path, then every bit of advice that I give you might not pertain to another person. So what's very key is that you set yourself up in your head that's not concrete, because plans change all the time. I'm proof of that. But you got to stick to what you want to do. You got to save, you got to invest, you got to plan for further and tomorrow, because we're not, even when we talk insurances, like we do insurances for someone as young as when they're kids, and it's paid off by the time they're 18, and they're set up for life, and their future wife or wife, husband, daughters, sons, no matter what, they're all covered after. So it's setting yourself up for the future at the best possible time. Put money aside, be disciplined, and enjoy your life in the moment, in the now, but also think about the future. It's a very important balance.
Wow, you said it beautifully, Andrew. Listen, like I said, you've been amazing today. But I want to know, do you have any upcoming projects, personally, business-wise? Do you want to go on tour? Do you want to do public speaking? What kind of ventures could we see Andrew doing in the future?
Well, right now there's not much public speaking because of COVID. I'm working very hard at my company to become an advisor for the public sector territory here in Montreal, and that entails managing the employees of whether it be a school or no matter what. And that's something that a certain level of advisor gets when you work for my company. And that's my upcoming personal objective. But any other projects, I don't really have any. I want to do more podcasts. I want to talk and give more informational videos, maybe do conferences. I've been thinking about that. I've been working on advertisements to be more informative for people of the demographic of 18 to 65, so that they understand the importance of saving and the importance of protecting like our lifestyles and everything that goes along with it. You know, that's basically my objective right now. I wish I could be doing some conferences, public speaking in different cities, but I want to keep growing before I get to that.
Like you could maybe be a Gary Vee in the future or an Elon Musk.
Yeah, you never know.
Listen, Andrew, for anybody here that's looking for a financial advisor, maybe to buy RSPs, buy a house, whatever it is you want to do with your your personal finance, how can they book an appointment with you?
Well, if you can include my cell phone number. Actually, my cell phone number is on my Facebook page. So if you
Okay.
go click the link to my Facebook page, there's a calendar. You could automatically book a meeting, request to book a meeting on that calendar that's open.
Mm-hmm.
It varies day to day. It updates based on my availabilities, but it's normally an hour and a half consultation, roughly.
Okay.
Or you could message me or text me, and we could figure out a way for us to talk and meet. And you know what? I'd be happy to meet anybody who would like to
Okay.
discuss.
And like, how far do you deal with people? Like inside Canada, like from British Columbia, like.
Really, for a lot of it, it's here in Quebec.
Okay.
My license kind of limits me to Quebec for certain things, for majority of
Okay.
things. So it's a little bit more difficult. But I'm more than happy if it means meeting with somebody, and perhaps you never know. Maybe you want to. If I meet to one of you guys that lives in Vancouver, but you have a friend or a cousin that lives in Quebec, you could always refer me to that person. I could help them as well. That's my objective: to help as many people as I can. That's the
Okay.
objective. Yeah, so far.
Nice, nice. Guys, listen, we're at the Q&A. So if you guys have any last minute questions for Andrew, shoot it, guys. Don't be shy. Also, I want to tell you something very important. If you would like to book an appointment with this man right here, because it's opposite on the camera, this man right here, click the link on the top of the chat. It's pinned on Facebook. It'll open a page. You could book an appointment with Andrew Cipolla, guys, our financial advisor for the Ange TV Show, the official one. And he can answer all your personal finance questions. This guy, he knows a lot about it. Like you've seen during this podcast, he has a lot of knowledge on the matter. A lot of you guys were asking. I see a lot of the questions. Some of them were very similar. Like Ryocat was saying a lot of the similar stuff. How do I make a lot of money to buy all the things I want? Like a lot of money, a lot of questions about how do I make money really quick? Like I find that's very popular. How do I? Everybody wants to say, "Oh, I want to do this so I can get money," and then like it's almost like an impulsive mind state. Like you want to make you want to do something that's gonna make you 5,000, so you can put it in the bank and be richer, whatever. Like people want it quick. I noticed they want wealth quick. And that's the thing. That's it's not realistic, right, Claudia? Sorry, not Claudia. Andrew, it's not realistic to think like that, right? Like to think, oh, I'm gonna get rich tomorrow.
Yeah, get rich quick is the best possible scenario, but it never happens. The best way is to work hard, and also if it depends what you consider rich. Some people consider rich as in monetary. Some people like success. If you love what you do as a job, like I do, you'll find yourself as rich. You'll find a way to make yourself money. And the things that you worry about today won't matter tomorrow because you do what you love. So like That's a very good piece of advice I can give.
Exactly. At the end of the day, guys, to me, if you have a roof over your head, and you have your health and food on the table, you're rich. You're doing very well. You're living a happy life. In society, we always look at money that it's like, okay, I understand money does a lot for you, but at the end of the day, to me, if you ask the question, does money make you happy? No, it won't buy you happiness. To me, very simple things could make you happy, like a partner, a mother, a father, loving father. Maybe your dog can make you happy. There's a lot of things like much smaller than that. And at the end of the day, money is basically a digit in your bank. If everything closes down, there goes your money. You know what I mean? So don't stress too much about money. Plan for the future, though. You know what I mean? Live in the moment, plan for the future. Exactly. Angie, do you want to add something on top of that?
Live in the moment, plan for the future, and use me to help you plan for the future. That's the best I could do. If you want my help, I'm more than happy to help. No matter your age, no matter whether you're about to retire, whether it's your parents, I help people who are planning to get married, who just had their first child, who just bought their first house, who have to just finish school and they have a credit card, student loan debt. So I'm really equipped to help a bunch of different people as many ways as possible. So, that's the best thing I could offer is my time and and it's going to be very patient, very easygoing time. It's not going to be rushed, so I could offer quality to my advice.
Okay, awesome. Andrew, you've been fantastic. Seriously, you're going to get another Ange clap.
Thank you.
You've been amazing. I think you answered most of our burning questions: how to save money, how to budget, how to invest your money. And listen, if they do have some, because some people, it's personal, right? Some people, they have personal finance questions. They don't want to really talk too much in public about it. So they could obviously make an appointment with you and talk about it with you in private,
of course,
professionally, and everything. So like I said, thank you very much for coming. You've been amazing. If ever we need you back for anything to do with finance, would you be able to come back, Andrew?
Oh, yeah, I'd love to, man. It was a real pleasure being on the show today. And
no problem.
I'd love to come back.
Great. Oh, we have Jofo in the ring, the wrestler over here. What's up, Jofo? Well, Frank Jofo's in the building. Guys, don't forget to like the live stream, okay? You guys are forgetting to like the live stream. Please smash that thumbs up button. Go and follow Mr. Andrew Cipolla, guys, our financial advisor for the Ange TV show here. He works at La Capital. Follow him on Instagram. It's in the description. Click the link. Go give him a follow. He's worth a follow. He's a smart man. And if you're looking to book an appointment with him, or if you know somebody who would want an appointment with Andrew, click that Facebook link, share it, send it to your friend, and they can make an appointment with this very intelligent man right here.
Thank you very much.
Guys, thank you very much for coming. We had a great time tonight. If you guys have questions, first of all, you have literally about 15 to 20 seconds. If you want to ask a last-minute question for Andrew, he's right here. He can answer your question live. If not, you could always comment on this video after the fact, or you could DM either me and Andrew if you have a question that you want to get to him, or you missed it, or you're going to watch the replay. That's fine as well. Guys, all I could say is good night. Thank you for the support. Monday is Power Play with Ange and T, guys. We got some burning topics to talk about, so make sure you do not miss it. It's at 8 o'clock on Monday. That's the next time I'm going to see you guys. And listen, you guys have a good night, and thank you for coming. I hope you guys learned how to make that dinero, how to make that money. All right, guys.
It was a pleasure, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem, man.
Good night. Stay safe, guys.
Ciao, guys. Buonanotte.